About a month ago, Les continued, I started hearing things about the local hunters. Whispers that they had started avoiding the forest outside of my town, the one close to my farm. Once the rumours started spreading, no one even talked about setting foot within those trees. Then, one day, my sheep. He hesitated for a moment and gestured to Derek. Half my flock, most of them just bones. I managed to stockpile some more for the time being, but soon Derek and I will be both scrounging for scraps just to keep our farms going. Rylan looked at both of them. So, you think it was the same creature? I heard him, Derek suddenly continued. Didn't sleep the whole night. The screaming, I didn't even know cows could make such a sound. After it ended, when it was silent, I couldn't move. I didn't shift a muscle until the sun came up. The ghoulish looks on their faces, it all made sense now. So what is it, bears? Wolves? Not so sure it's either of them, said Marek. He turned his attention to the couple. And you two? You don't have livestock. What know you of this? Rumours, like Les said, Shonwen said, her tone a lot more serious. Tales of livestock being killed, nights going unslept, people going missing. Ryland's eyebrows shot up. Missing? That's right, said the one member of the group that had been quiet the whole time. Been out of work for the last 2 months, 'cause of it. Thormir? Rylan asked. You're a miner. How the hell does a livestock killer affect your work? Thormir's hair was as black as the coal he mined, and the shadow over his stony glaring face was just as dark to match. The mines got shut down when workers weren't coming out of the tunnels. Once bodies started getting found, every shaft was boarded up. The whole reason I'm bloody here is to see if this damn company knows of anywhere that still needs miners. An air of caution ate away in the back of Ryland's mind as he eyed the group. Pure unrelenting seriousness on their faces. Every word, they all believed them to be true. And you're all sure it's the same thing? Marek tutted and looked at his wife. Told you he'd have no idea. I didn't think much of it till I heard Derek and Thormir's sides of things, said Lest. Whatever it is, it's on the move. No knowing where it'll pop up next. Rylan was still for a moment, before the chilling nature of their stories washed over him, and he broke the silence with a haughty huff. Paynon was right. The war really has taken a toll on the kingdom. Lest scrunched up his face. Hey, he said. Folk all over Nor have been struggling for the past 20 years. Game is being hunted more, wood is being chopped more. There's probably dozens of hungry, homeless predators moving from forest to forest or hold to hold. Animals, that's all they are. The silence returned. Now all eyes were on him, and were all burning with what seemed to be a blend of disbelief and offence. Is that right? Asked Derek. Well, as it happens, thought something similar myself after my herb was cold, and I wasn't about to let some rabid pack of mongrels take livestock I spent years rearing and milking and get off scot-free. He leaned in. So, scrounged up some coin and hired me a couple mercenaries, blokes that can crack a few more skulls than your average game hunter. I wanted every single creature that tore apart my cows killed and skinned, so that I could sell their pelts in an effort to make up for what they took from me. And they never came back. Rylan shrugged. They were mercenaries. You expect them to have the chivalry of a knight? They made off with your money, and there were 8 of them, Rylan. I promised each of them 100 gold, and gave them a down payment of 10. Honourable or not, no man just turns their nose up at that kind of money when all you're asked to do is just kill a few wolves or bears. Whatever killed my cows, killed less sheep, Thormir's fellow miners, and the mercs are sent after it. And it's still out there. He leaned back and stood up straight. Not that you know anything about that, or care for that matter. All safe and sound up there on your little mountain. You must be very proud. Whilst Rylan knew his probing of their situation hadn't helped, Derek's words were what soured the conversation most for him. I am, as it happens, he said, not an ounce of humour in his voice. And frankly, I've been away too long. He turned and began his leave. Good day, folks. Hope that creature business of yours clears up. Keep your doors locked, woodsman, Lest called over. And keep that axe by your side. God's willing you'll only need it for wood. Rylan shook his head. This is why I live alone, he thought. He opened the door and went outside. Bainan's men picked up their pace once they saw that Rylan was ready to go, so it didn't take too long for them to get their wood, hand Rylan his meagre bag of gold, and for him to be on his way home. In time, he made it back to his house atop the mountain, and he promptly put Solace back in her stable. He then spent the rest of the day chopping wood until the sky became stained by the red of dusk. Even if his profits were dwindling from such a dying trade, he still felt fulfilled in doing it. He ended his day by lighting up a fire in his hearth and watching the wood turn to embers as he filled his belly with stew. Once the fire died down, he retired to his bed, the mountain only lit up by the moon. The cold air of night often helped him sleep, so he left his window open to let it in and soothe his mind as he drifted off into slumber. But what came through his window wasn't just the simple silence that had always accompanied the gentle nightly chill. Something else, something strange, something harsh. A great howl.